In September 2025, Apple quietly shelved its entire flat-panel iPhone roadmap for 2028 and beyond. Not delayed, shelved. Internal documents that surfaced through a supply chain leak showed the company had redirected over 1,400 engineers from display manufacturing research into a single new division, spatial computing wearables. Apple has never confirmed this publicly, but their patent filings in the 12 months following tell the story clearly. 340 new patents related to waveguide optics, eye tracking, and neural input. 0 new patents on OLED display advancement. The smartphone era is not ending slowly. It is being discontinued from the inside. Here is what makes this genuinely important right now. The global smartphone market is worth $484 billion annually. The companies that dominate it, Apple, Samsung, Qualcomm, Google, are simultaneously the companies funding its replacement. They are not waiting to see what happens. They are deciding what happens. And they are deciding it on a timeline most consumers have never heard discussed openly. IDC, the technology research firm, projected in early 2026 that AR smart glasses will reach 100 million annual unit sales by 2029. For context, the iPhone took 4 years to reach that number, starting from a moment of enormous cultural enthusiasm. AR glasses are approaching it from almost complete public obscurity. The financial consequence is direct. Every company currently manufacturing smartphone components, every app studio built around a touchscreen interface, every carrier whose pricing model depends on data consumed through a handheld device, all of them are sitting on a business model that has an expiration date now measured in years, not decades. To understand how we arrived here, you need to go back to 2012. Google Glass launched that year to enormous media attention and collapsed within 3 years, not because the concept was wrong, but because the engineering was about 14 years too early. The display was a tiny prism that projected a dim image into one eye. The battery lasted 45 minutes under real use. The processor was equivalent to a mid-range 2011 Android phone, and it weighed 43 grams on your face, which sounds light until you wear it for 2 hours. What the Google Glass failure actually demonstrated was a precise list of engineering problems that needed to be solved before the concept could work. Waveguide optics needed to compress massive projection systems into a lens thinner than a fingernail. Processors needed to deliver desktop-class computation while consuming less power than a hearing aid battery. Eye tracking needed to hit sub-millisecond latency. Spatial audio needed to render three-dimensional sound without earbuds. Each of these was an independent engineering frontier. Between 2015 and 2024, every single one of them was crossed. Not gradually. In sharp, sudden breakthroughs driven by a combination of VR gaming investment, military contracts, and the quiet desperation of the smartphone industry watching its own growth curve flatten. The breakthrough most people have not heard about is waveguide manufacturing reaching scale. A waveguide is a sheet of glass or plastic thinner than a standard contact lens that acts like a fiber optic cable bent flat. Light enters from a tiny projector at the temple, bounces through the waveguide at precise angles using etched diffraction gratings, and exits toward your eye in a coherent image. The problem, for a decade, was that each waveguide had to be manufactured with nanometer-level precision across its entire surface. A single microscopic flaw scattered the light and ruined the image. Lens, a company based in Sunnyvale, California, cracked volume holographic waveguide production in 2024 using a photopolymer process that essentially prints the diffraction patterns like ink onto flexible film. Their per-unit cost dropped from $340 per waveguide in 2022 to under $18 by late 2025. That single cost collapse is the hinge point. Everything downstream from that, the industrial design, the software ecosystem, the consumer pricing, suddenly became viable. Think of it the way transistor costs behaved between 1970 and 1980. One manufacturing method unlocked an entirely new civilization of devices. The second revelation goes even deeper, and it overturns something most people assume is a hard physical limit. You might think that projecting a sharp, full-color image that appears to float in your actual field of vision would require enormous optical power, something like a flashlight behind your eye. It does not. The human eye perceives apparent brightness relative to ambient light, and the fovea, the small central region where you actually read detail, covers only about 2 degrees of your visual field. New foveated rendering engines, pioneered by researchers at ETH Zurich and commercialized by companies including Tobii Eye and Meta Reality Labs, track exactly where your eye is pointing at 120 times per second. The system then renders only that 2-degree window in full resolution, and lets everything in your peripheral vision exist at 1/8 the pixel density. The result is that a display requiring what would theoretically need 24 gigapixels per second of rendering power can be delivered by a chip consuming under 800 milliwatts, roughly what your wireless earbuds use. Qualcomm's Snapdragon AR2 Gen 2 chipset, announced in 2025, achieves this while fitting inside a frame temple 8 mm wide. The human eye is doing most of the computational work it was always doing. The chip is just choosing where to focus the rendering budget. This completely reframes the power problem that killed every previous AR device. So how does the full system actually work when you're wearing a pair of these glasses and looking at your kitchen counter? The process happens in 4 simultaneous layers. First, a set of outward-facing SLAM cameras, which stands for simultaneous localization and mapping, build a real-time, 3-dimensional model of the room. This is the same technology self-driving cars use, compressed into a chip the size of a fingernail. Second, the eye tracking system identifies exactly where you are looking within that 3D model and determines what object or surface your gaze intends to interact with. Third, the Waveguide projects the relevant digital layer, a recipe, a text message, a translated street sign, precisely anchored to that physical surface using a technique called photon timestamping, which synchronizes the projected image to your head movement with less than 3 milliseconds of lag. Anything above 7 milliseconds produces visible swimming of the image, which causes nausea. Below 3, the brain accepts the image as spatially real. Fourth, bone conduction speakers at the temple vibrate your skull directly, producing audio that only you can hear without blocking your ears. Each of these 4 systems was independently mature by 2024. The engineering achievement of 2025 and 2026 has been integrating all 4 into a frame light enough to wear and a battery lasting a full workday. The complications are real and serious. Start with privacy, because it is the most immediate. A device that maps every room you enter, tracks your gaze continuously, and processes ambient audio is a surveillance instrument of extraordinary power, regardless of the manufacturer's intentions. In April 2026, the European Union's Digital Markets Act Enforcement Division opened a preliminary investigation into Meta's Orion AR prototype specifically over biometric data retention. The concern was not theoretical. Internal documents showed the device was logging gaze duration data on physical advertisements, effectively measuring how long users looked at a competitor's product in a store. The second complication is physical. Extended AR use triggers a recognized neurological response called vergence accommodation conflict. Your eye muscles focus on a real surface at one distance, while the projected image signals a different depth. Over sessions longer than 2 hours, this produces eye strain, headaches, and in some users persistent difficulty focusing on unaugmented text. No waveguide-based system has fully solved this yet. It is the one engineering problem that remains genuinely open, and it matters enormously for mass adoption. For you, the timeline is specific. If you work in design, architecture, medicine, logistics, or education, the first wave of professional AR tools is arriving between 2027 and 2029. Software interfaces built around touchscreens will not translate cleanly. They will need to be rebuilt for spatial interaction, which means new careers in spatial UX design are not a future abstraction but a present hiring wave. If you are a developer, the transition from mobile-first to